Hello, everyone, and welcome to the November 21st Project Analytics Group Sync. We've got a little few new faces to the Americas APAC time zone meeting. So we're going to do the billboard review. So just give me a moment while I share my screen. Hopefully everyone can see it as well. I think I saw a thumbs up, some nodding. So, all right. As far as open issues, besides the milestone planning issue, James, you have a beta launch plan issues or anything you want to discuss there?
So that is some to-dos for myself, just so they're documented transparently about what we're doing around the launch of the beta, things like blog posts, video, inclusion in the CS newsletter, stuff like that. Feel free to click through, hoping that these types of activities help get us towards our OKR goal around weekly active users.
Awesome. Cool. We've got some issues in planning breakdown regarding the funnels to improve its resilience and also get it working. Not sure if anyone has an update there. Rob and Max are not on the call, so we can go ahead and just move on there. Got a number of issues ready for development to pick up, but yeah, nothing assigned. So we'll just keep moving along. As far as in dev, backup strategy for product analytics for SaaS. Max and I have been contributing to the larger discussion in terms of how do we back up data from ClickHouse Cloud in general. The functionality from GitLab that is using ClickHouse Cloud is also looking at this as well. Just to provide a quick update, ClickHouse Cloud does not support direct access to those backup objects. So theoretically, if you wanted to restore data or back it up elsewhere, you'd need to restore it to a new service or back up that primary database and then save it elsewhere as you want. This is semi-problematic because they only have a 2-day retention window. So theoretically, if something happens on a Friday and we're over the weekend, we can come back on Monday and have some issues there. So I've made a proposal on how we can kind of work with this. Others have contributed to the discussion as well. Feel free to take a look and offer your thoughts if you feel like you'd like to. But I think we'll be able to at least have a plan for now until ClickHouse Cloud will eventually launch a feature where we can connect our own object storage and we would have direct access, meaning we can have a lot easier way of archiving data or backing things up. As far as logging is concerned, we've gotten everything plugged in other than pre and staging, which is still relying on infrastructure support. It doesn't seem like we have that still yet. So we'll just leave it there to kind of signal the desire for support. This was already launched for .com, just needs to be cleaned up, which I can pick up when he gets back. And then Halil, you've got add product analytics, the experiment features list. Anything you'd like to call out here?
So this is kind of like a big issue that some part of is already merged, but the part where we actually use the toggle is not merged yet. So that's something that I'm working on.
Cool. Yeah, I think to go alongside this or to support the beta launch, I will mention I don't have an issue for this, but I will be pinging the people who have done the security review for our experiment review for the beta review, just to make sure there isn't anything they'd like to validate, so that once we do have the toggle and we do have approval from security, then we can go ahead and be cleared at least to release the beta. Halil, you've also got the next issue here.
Yeah, that's also in progress. I have a working solution locally, but yeah, I didn't prepare it for review yet.
Awesome. That'll be useful. We were investigating kind of our collector uptime issues if you're subscribed to our infrastructure alerts channel. So the more data we have, the better it is to see what's all happening there. So look forward to that. Moving on to in review. And you've got the first 3 issues. Anything you want to call out here?
Yeah, so the pin Docker image versions issue, there's a Renovate bot running now to keep things updated in the dev kit. There is a issue with the pipeline just running in the Renovate fork. So I think we're missing some environment variables. So I'm just trying to figure out who has access to add those and if we are okay to add those. and I'm going to keep that issue going and set up Renovate on the analytics stack as well, just so the production images are kept up to date. Other than that, the bot seems to be working and it's raising emails, which is nice. The group totals, usage visualizations, Max has given some feedback on adding a feature flag in there just to control fetching 12 months of data versus 2 months, just so if there is a negative performance impact, we can just turn that off. So I'm just getting that through. And then that feature flag cleanup is nearly through as well. So yeah, this is basically all done. Yeah.
Awesome. Is this the issue blocked icon? You can remove that now? Or is the issue? Oh, I see. Never mind. It's fine. Actually, do we have two issues for? Oh, wait.
I had a rollout issue and then a cleanup issue.
Does the feature flag issue not include cleanup?
It says you can create a follow-up or do it within there. And yeah,
got it. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. So you mentioned permissions. Do you need any assistance with the pipeline stuff?
Potentially. I asked Rob if he had permissions, but I don't think he's had a chance to check that yet. Otherwise, I'm not sure who owns that Renovate bot fork. But yes, it's all the Docker Hub login stuff that needs to be added.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. With Phil still in review, pending external review from the Cube team. We haven't received a response since we last engaged with them. Cost data is just a continuing thing. I actually haven't really paid much attention to this, but should be able to look at it this week or next. Just improve our cost figures there. And then Halil, you've got the experiment feature should not depend on AI settings in review.
So that I picked up because there were some issues with the other MR that I'm working on. So basically, this one is already approved by the maintainer, but there was an issue appeared with an unrelated feature spec failing, but I guess it will pass. So I expect it to be merged soon, already approved.
Awesome. Sounds good. And then as far as, did we not take a bookmark? Okay, I apologize. We can cover closed issues perhaps another time because I don't want to spend too much there. Graham, I wasn't sure if there's anything you wanted to call out here. Typically, we use this to kind of review work that's in flight or needs discussion, or if there's anything to bring up. Is there anything you wanted to call out here at all?
I don't think so. James and I actually talked about the board before this, and I'm just more excited to be on it. So.
Well, I just didn't want to make, or I wanted to make sure we didn't forget about you since there's we've yet to see your face on here, but definitely looking forward to that. So
no, I appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome, cool. And that's the build board review. Anyone have anything else they'd like to call out before we wrap this part up? Awesome. All right, moving on. James, do you want to lead this topic?
Sure. I missed the section call yesterday. I haven't had a chance to watch the recording. I haven't actually even looked to see if there's a recording.
We didn't. It was I kept it read only because it was the only topic, and
cool.
I posted it in Slack. Haven't gotten a response yet, but continue.
So there was a question from a product manager about product analytics, the charts and the dashboards and visualizations of how to build those. Looked through them. They were excited about it. There is a product OKR around setting North Star Lighthouse metrics for each of the groups. I'd encourage and want to talk to folks about setting those and using product analytics to capture the data, which works for event data, not as well for aggregate data or service pick data. So maybe that won't work as great, but it would be nice for teams that are rolling out and doing event tracking on GitLab.com to get more opportunity to talk to us and analytics instrumentation, I think, to talk about how easy it is. Because we've heard feedback that it's hard to instrument, that there's a trade-off in stopping feature work to go at instrumentation or metrics about what they're capturing. We want to try to kind of dispel the myth that it's really hard to do and you have to make that trade-off, that you can do both things. And you're better off for it because then you can make data informed decisions about how people are using your products. So wanted to put it out there of we should host an office hours, either our own, or should we join the existing analytics instrumentation office hours, or should we do something else to talk to folks?
So yeah, I think it'd be interesting, and I'm pending. So I asked in the section call, I haven't had a async response nor in the Slack channel yet, but I think it'd be really useful if we combined office hours. One, I wanted to make sure that I wanted to check on the attendance for analytics instrumentations and office hours. Excuse me, I can't talk today. I came out of calibration. It's taking a lot out of me. I wanted to know how busy that one was to make before we asked if we should combine it. I think a great example is that an engineer from Secure actually just went into analytics instrumentations channel and asked a question that either team could have answered. So I think having off, and it was about collecting events, how long it takes to show up in Sisense. I wanted to suggest, well, hey, product analytics gets it pretty much immediately. We've still yet to validate the data accuracy and things like that. But if you're looking for an immediate response and want to dig into that data, you can do that very quickly. And then if you want to dig deeper with, full-fledged SQL editing in Sisense later on. Yeah, I think it would be good for the stage in general if we just had office hours where we can kind of help guide people there. I think it'd also just be more efficient. And then, I don't think the current office hours rotates time zones. So I think ideally we would want to do something like that so we can provide coverage for APAC, Americas, Europe, everywhere. So that's my thoughts on it. But I'll let y'all know when I hear back on the existing office hours attendance.
It definitely makes a lot of sense. There's going to be a lot of crossover in the questions that we have, and it'll help ensure that there's people there to answer all the questions, which would be good.
That's the one tomorrow morning at 8. Well, PST.
I believe so, but I also thought I saw one that was like at midnight. So,
So the data insights office hours tomorrow morning is the data analyst team, or the data
different
insights team.
Oh,
team.
okay.
Yeah,
so that's
they are
okay.
actually
as data flows into the data warehouse and then can be queried from Sisense or Tableau. That's that team.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So they are also responsible for part of the transformations and the ingestions of service paying, as well as the existing internal snowplow events, but not the snowplow event collection that product analytics has implemented. Though, to make it more confusing, when you send internal events, we send to both.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, there's a reason to the madness, but I'm happy to explain that here or whenever. I think the analytics instrumentation office hours, as far as I can tell, is at midnight, 8 a.m. UTC. If I'm not messing up my calculations. So yeah, it'd be good to understand the state of the existing office hours, and then before we even propose combining it, see how receptive they are to. And they've got people in APAC as well, so I think it'd be good to just share that load in general. But yeah, we'll see what the team says, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
Cool. We have OKRs. They are read only, but if anyone would like to discuss it, I can either pause or just not upload this publicly.
And I'll continue to update. Those are the product ones. Dennis, I can grab the engineering ones too when I'm making my update if you share the link with me, or if I go find it. I'm sure it's out there, easy to find. But I'll keep adding those to the agenda so that folks have them readily available.
I mean, we aligned on them, so I actually don't have any other additional OKRs. So our OKRs are your OKRs as far as engineering is concerned.
What I thought, I just
yeah,
say it out loud.
I was like, I've been trying to get product and engineering aligned on it.
so happy.
It's really just a play for me to not have to link my own. So thanks for linking to our OKRs. Graham, you had a question.
Yeah, sorry. This is maybe not the right meeting for it, but the data insights thing kind of brought up a question I've had in terms of like our own workflow and like product process. is data insights involved? Because like I've heard a lot about UXR obviously and how research is involved in a lot of like the productization, but I haven't really heard much at all about like data analytics. Or do we have like data analysts on our team that can plug into that stuff and kind of help us in productization?
Do we have that data analysts? No. Would they help? Probably.
Cool.
So data insights, and James can correct me if I'm wrong, but like data insights exists because, and this is the joys of being also called the analytics section, is that we are focused on the analytics, like the product version that users of GitLab can employ or deploy
Right.
and utilize. Whereas as a company, we require a lot more analytics to be able to perform all the different functions, the research, pricing, competitive analysis, things like that. There are many different teams, including data analytics, that have data analysts whose sole function is to do that research. We even have an engineering productivity and engineering analytics team that's very focused in looking at how we perform internally to see like, are we as efficient as we can be? How can we unlock efficiency gains and things like that? So the data insights team, their relevance really plays into, I would say, only analytics instrumentation, given that they run the service ping, which is collecting telemetry from both .com and self-managed instances in terms of aggregated metrics, as well as the, let's call it, old Snowplow implementation in terms of collecting front-end and back-end events. And so we are replicating that with product analytics, the Snowplow part, in order for people that develop their applications to instrument their applications once they've used GitLab for all the other parts of developing and organizing the work. So there are parallels for sure. And I've asked Carolyn, the manager for the data insights team, like questions about how we've collected and the history behind the data we have to help inform us how we should go forward with product analytics in general.
Right.
But they don't have there's no direct collaboration or bearing that that data insights has with product analytics, the feature.
Okay. I guess I'm asking because my version of this and product process that I was used to previous to here was we would conceptualize, and usually that was like a design brainstorm or led by design and product. And then from that, we might do like an experimental release of a product, say, for instance. And then all of that is ingested by the data analytics team. And then they bring an analysis to us and say, hey, this performed really well because of this, this, we avoided the Santa effect, but we did have like this, level of confidence because of novelty and all this stuff. And that would kind of drive like the decision making for future iterations, or even for like a general release if it was or wasn't effective. Is that like still happening here in terms of like our own product process?
I can answer that one. So there's not as much traditional A/B testing at GitLab as maybe what you're used to. The growth team does a good amount of that, and they work very closely with product analytics or the data insights team on those things. There are data analysts that are assigned to sections that are your primary contact if you have data questions, that data that's coming from Service Ping or Snowplow or both. And we use that as product people to create performance indicators and other size-sense charts, now Tableau charts, to drive and make ourselves data informed. Maybe not to the degree that you are used to, though, from your old company.
So like, for instance, like if our milestone is a beta release, let's say like, okay, the beta's released, do we have that opportunity to go to whatever team that looks like and say, hey, like we want to look at maybe usage and see like if some of these things that we built are being used at a higher rate or because of something? And like we would obviously come up with the study and like our hypotheses and all that, but would that be something that they would plug into and go like, yeah, we can work with you on this to kind of drive design iterations in the future, or whatever it may be?
Hey, maybe. Yep. Go ahead, Dennis.
I was going to say they can, and they help other product teams traditionally do that. But product analytics is a very unique opportunity. I wanted to just show this off, but it's still being recorded, where we can dog food that. So we can actually see very immediately the metrics when we release something. We can have that set up ahead of time so that when we launch, that's something we can definitely do. And like we can have we can have our dashboard set up for our beta launch, and then when we flip it on, we'll be able to see from day one. That's actually the intent. James has already gone through and taken the events he's using for success metrics in terms of like who's viewing a dashboard, who's actually creating them, and things like that.
Yeah.
And so we can do that now already on our own. But to be fair, if we need help, we can always reach out to someone to help us better understand it. But I think product analytics is in a unique position because also we want to, how do we say, get people excited about you dogfooding product analytics by showing them that they can use product analytics to see that. So it's a little meta, it's a little confusing, and we still need to, like, you know, there are data discrepancy issues. I'm not sure yet to significant scale, but like you know, we want to show that it can work and has value as well. And I think one way to do that is by basically saying, hey, we instrumented our own product launch and here's the data that we're getting in near real time.
Nice.
But
okay, cool. That was kind of what my instinct was like, we do have this opportunity to like kind of spearhead that. Not that it's not happening already, but like do it in a unique way that kind of also is, like you said, like this meta take on our own product. So I just wasn't sure like what that might look like in terms of design moving forward, but yeah, I appreciate it. I know it's more of like a process question, which
no, it's totally fine. I
maybe different
appreciate
for
you
this.
bringing it up. And to your point, like if it's about design, like we could still do that, right? So we can have a feature flag, and we can so that's what I was going to say earlier about A/B testing, is like that's what we hope to do with A/B testing as well, is to, you know, we have some teams like Growth that do that on a normal basis. We would like to get, and we do in some ways do it already, but just not to the point where we really look at like the data and the variance and like really like use it to drive decisions, unless you really dig deeper into it with Sisense. But there's nothing stopping us, and I've linked it in chat because I don't want to show it on the recording, but like this is our product analytics dashboard for GitLab.com. This is the feature usage of our features right now as it happens. We could there's nothing stopping us from putting a feature flag, exposing that to a certain cohort or segment or percentage of traffic, and then have that send an event so we can, and have the control send another event so we can literally see that data and make our own decisions. And that would probably be the precipice of A/B testing anyways. There's a much more lengthier discussion that I know James is really looking forward to, and how we manage feature flags in general, but that's
we had part of that discussion on our 101 earlier today.
Okay.
I linked to the same dashboard that Dennis did in the agenda and the Sisense dashboard. We've instrumented views of the dashboard list, views of dashboards, views of custom dashboards, views of visualization, and dashboard designers, saving those things as well. So we have instrumentation on all of that, and we can figure out as we iterate through what is driving those. And I've only built the charts in product analytics for the default dashboard views and the custom dashboard views, or the dashboard list views and the dashboard views. And then what we hope to do longer term is start to talk about what other GitLab data layers in here. So you can start to see from a release of a feature or an MR or whatever, how does that impact that usage of that internal event?
Coming this holiday season when everyone's on PTO and I have more focus time.
Awesome.
But it's a good question. I appreciate you bringing it up.
Yeah. No, thanks for answering it.
Cool. Well, that filled up time quite nicely. So we're at the end of the agenda with 4 minutes left. Is there anything else that anyone would else? Oh gosh, I really need to stop talking. Is there anything else that anyone would like to bring up? Okay, well, this has been Dennis trips over his own words. Thanks for joining. I hope everyone has a good rest of your Tuesday or Wednesday evening and week. For those celebrating Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. And see everyone in the next one.
Awesome. Cheers. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Yep.